I think the scariest thing that you'll ever do in your life is just turn the mic on. And imagine just starting. My friend Sean Finnegan told me that most of the time it's the start that stops you. And that's one of the most genius guys that I've met in my life. And been a great friend, been an amazing human being to me. And I got the opportunity yesterday to go over and speak with American Public University and American Military University. I guess the two of them work together. Student Veterans of America also. It's an online college that targets our veterans and helps them to be able to gain associate's degrees, master's degrees, bachelor's, doctorates. It's unreal. I got a chance to be able to do it because of Master Sergeant Nick Rennell in the U.S. Marine Corps. We made friends. He came to a vibe room, and I tell you, Nick opened doors, and it goes back to the fact that membership has its privileges, although relationships grant you access. And he granted me access to an organization that he's the president of. And, Lauren is there too. And Lauren, puts on these events all over the country. And she wants to be able to bring awareness to our veterans. And, whether it be in the Marine Corps, in the Army, in the Navy, in the Air Force, now Space Force, anything like that. There's so many opportunities that are available. And I got a chance to be able to sit down and talk to, my focal point last night was Owen and Jose. And these two young guys, they're probably in their early 20s. They have, 1 or 2 years into the Marines. Thank you for your service, Owen and Jose. And what I was talking to them about is there's 40,000 people on Camp Pendleton. There was 2 of them there. So 39,998 people didn't take the opportunity. And they had the opportunity to be in the room with some people that really could change their life, but they have to be in that moment. And we talked about this as far as, being in a moment is just being present with a person. And when you're present with people, you create moments. Those moments become memories, and those memories create momentum. And that momentum creates the foundation for legendary results. You see, we all want to be legends in whatever it is craft that we have. But I find the challenge is understanding and knowing how to be able to become that legend. And it's a pretty simple process. We got to have momentum. The momentum comes from moments. I just had a moment with a guy named Jay Shoup, Senior Vice President at Axos Bank. Absolutely blew my mind in the home loan and funding space. Now, he works in the luxury side, but he gave me a masterclass. It was probably, literally, he did it in about a minute and a half. He grabbed a luxury magazine, looked at the property that was selling, said, if I was in the home loan space, what I would do is I would look at this listing, and it said on the listing, it was listed for $37,500,000. So 37.5 was what it was listed at. And then it said underneath, it said motivated seller. And he said, first of all, what I would do is I would connect with the real estate agent, and then I would figure out why they're motivated. And then he went down the steps, bang, 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 on how to be able to not only gain their business, but to be able to create a different product that would be a service to that person. And he did this within 2 minutes. This is a guy named Jay Shoup. He's a friend of mine. Now, being around people and asking questions and then shutting up and listening, you have the tendency to get master classes. Those create moments. That moment creates some momentum, and that momentum can create legendary results. And in this last week, I've had these experiences, and it has been unreal. I got a chance to be the MC at HealthTAC, and that's one of the most prestigious conferences for senior living. And I didn't know anything about senior living until I went, and it blew my mind. I got a chance to be able to sit down with my buddy Gene, and he's one of the first people. When he was 26 years old, he created a community that was all inclusive in these senior living environments, and a senior living community where you had restaurants and bars and theaters, and so it wasn't the norm. And at 26 years old, there was a lot of pushback because he was one of the first in the industry to do it. But now it's become the norm, almost creating these West worlds for senior living communities. And so from senior living to assisted living and on into skilled nursing. And I got a chance to be able to be there and be the MC for the event at HealthTAC. And I got to be in the room, and I was the least qualified in there. But I got to ask a lot of questions. I got to create moments with different people. And my buddy Jeremy, I got a chance to be able to have a moment with him about a 91 Corvette. And if you meet him, when you do, you can ask him about it. But the reason why I'm saying it is because there's all these moments that are sitting waiting. They're waiting in the wings. They're waiting with the person at the grocery store, or the person, that you're walking at the beach, or you're on your dog walk, and you just look up from your phone and have a moment. And that moment can create a memory. That memory, when you have those, it creates momentum, and the momentum will create legendary results. And so for me, it was a big thing, but it comes back to this morning. The reason why I wanted to jump on the mic and be here with you guys is because in all the hustle and bustle, I've been studying Proverbs for about 30 years, and, corresponding proverb, corresponding day. If you've been on the podcast or, tuned in before, you've seen me break down the corresponding proverb for the corresponding day. And I have to tell you, in this last week and a half, it's become real for me, even more real than it has been. God has been speaking in my life and things like that. But it hit me hard this morning because I could tell you in the last week, I haven't taken the time. I haven't got quiet. I haven't read as much. I haven't, wrote as much and annotated as far as that. And what I noticed is that my tank started to be a little empty. And so it got real in the fact of, it's not just lip service of saying that we need to fill ourselves up with daily bread. We need to be filled up in our spirit. We need to be filled up in those areas. But I saw it come into fruition. I saw my body get tired. I saw my mind get tired. I saw my spirit get tired. And then I sat down, and it was literally for 5 minutes today. And I just read in Proverbs 18, that's the corresponding proverb for today. And it was just all about friendship. And friendship means that you're present with people. And when you're present with people, then you create moments. And that moment will create momentum. The momentum will create a legendary foundation. And you can have the legendary moments. You can become legendary, but you got to have momentum, which comes from moments. And those moments, for me, I've passed them up because I've been in a rush. I did HealthTAC in Florida, which was my job. And I absolutely love it. I don't know if I could call it a job. But I got to do that. Jay Viola and the Viola family and HealthTAC family. And I'm going to be back in Fort Myers at the end of the month with HealthTAC, which is going to be for the hospitality industry. But what I've learned over this last week is that with all these highs, we just had the Vibe Room, which is amazing. I'll talk about that later. We've got to take the time to slow down. And we've got to be able to create those moments. But the first moment that we create is spending a little bit of time, whether it be 5, 10, 15 minutes, whatever it is, spending that time with your Creator every single morning and reset yourself for that daily bread. And there's only one place you could get the daily bread. There's only one bread store that you could get it from. And I tell you, if you go for the day old bread, it costs less, but it does not have the reward. So why don't we get this party started?
Yeah, and this the vibe that raised us, made us, saved us. Love so strong that the hard times praised us. From base life roots to the freeway nights, we turn small rooms into launch pad flights. Yeah, this the vibe that raised us, made us, saved us. Love so strong that the hard times praised us. From base life roots to the freeway nights, we turn small rooms into launch pad flights. We begun surfing waves too low, made our own rules everywhere we go. Held tight to the truth that our parents declared. Anything is possible, the love stayed there. Now Rob's daughter ballin' on the end scene. Ole scene, Will's kids live dreams we never could have seen. This the vibe that raised us, made us, saved us. Love so strong that the hard times praised us. From base life roots to the freeway nights, we turn small rooms into launch pad flights.
Oh man, the Vibe Room, the Vibe Room, the Vibe Room. I keep telling people about it, and they keep asking, like, what is it? I have no sales pitch for it. I have no sales pitch for the Vibe Room because once you experience it, you'll have your own sales pitch. And it's hard to explain. It's hard to explain to a person who hasn't actually experienced it. To be in the room, to have live music, stand-up comedy, some interviews with some of the most iconic people in the world, My daughter, this last time, she got a chance to perform, or I got the opportunity, me and my wife got the opportunity to be able to see our daughter perform Bob Dylan and Joan Baez's song, It Ain't Me, Babe. It was, I mean, she's 17 years old. She was in front of a sold-out crowd at the Vibe Room, the 10th straight, by the way. And it was incredible for a 17-year-old to get up in front of a group of iconic people, just people in general at 17 years old was unreal. So here's how the night went. We started off with some of the best tacos in the world. We got Cardenas Legacy Tequila that's there. We've also got Transcendence Wine, one of the best winemakers in the Central Coast. He was there and he's serving wine. We got the Taco Brothers doing their thing. Everybody's connecting, and we don't have name tags on. People are just connecting. And what I say to everyone when you come to the Vibe Room is that you never know where someone's from. You never know where they're going, and you never know where you're going to meet up with them again. So make a friend out of everyone and literally like talk to people. And so we started off that way. And then, I do a bit of a monologue, connect everybody in the room, connect that way. And I'm going to be releasing the videos for it so you guys can see it. The line cut. It's just, it makes my heart sing. Then I got a chance to be able to interview the editor. I'm going to slow down for a second because I've got to make sure that we hit on all of these. And these are just a few. So the editor from Out of This World, Pee-wee's Playhouse, Italian Job, Pocahontas, Lilo and Stitch, Hercules, 8 Crazy Nights, Winnie the Pooh, and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Worked with Disney, trained everybody on the one of the machines that helped to be able to bring animation, to a whole nother level. He was the guy who trained everybody. Worked with DreamWorks for 9 years. Worked with Sony and Paramount. Paul Carrera. It was unbelievable to be able to sit down. And the cool thing is, everybody in the Vibe Room, they all have one thing in common. They're my friends. We also had Darren and Matt too, LinkedIn. I mean, they're the guys on LinkedIn that if you want to know about LinkedIn and how to grow your LinkedIn and all that stuff, they're there. We got Nick Horgan, who's the one of the COO, or is it CCO or COO? I can't remember. There's a C in there, and he is for Amaze Insights, and the guy is amazing. I mean, when I say Amaze Insights, he's amazing. It's no pun intended. But Nick is an absolute beast, one of the top in the hospitality industry and in the tech industry. And he spoke, and my daughter performed, and we had Paul Carrera, and then we had Kim McVicker did stand-up comedy. And then we had Eric Chin. And Eric Chin was from him and his wife created a little tiny company called Tiny Prints that sold to Shutterfly. You can look up the valuation, and it's ridiculous. He did this before he was 30. He went into venture capital. Now he's one of the top venture capitalists in Palo Alto. And he was there, but the reason why is because he's a friend of mine he's my brother's best friend. My brother and him were friends since 6th grade. And so we got a chance to be able to sit down and talk about where AI was going, where venture capital was going, how to be able to position your company if you want to do a sale, what they look for as venture capital, all these things. It was unreal. And then we had Nick come and speak. He gave some inspiration, which I think was awesome. And then we had, guys, the living legend, right? But even before the living legend, we had a living legend introduce a living legend. So Bucky Lasik, for those of you in the skateboarding community, you know exactly who I'm talking about. Bucky Lasik was in the audience, and he actually introduced Steve Caballero. And so I get to sit down with Steve Caballero. Not only did I get to sit down with Paul, who edited all those movies, Eric, who sold the company for, you can go and look it up, Tiny Prints to Shutterfly. Look that up. And then we have Steve Caballero. And Steve Caballero, like, this is one of the most iconic skaters in the entire world. He changed the business. Tony Hawk jumped onto the Bones Brigade team because he wanted to skate with Steve Caballero. But also, we have Bucky Lasik that introduces him. And it's so crazy to see, like, Bucky was on the first Tony Hawk Pro Skater and in the video game. And it's the only time I ever called off for work. I gave Bucky a hard time. fashion myself as a very disciplined guy in work. But it was the one day I got the code for unlimited lives from my buddy Dave. He called me at work, and I literally just canceled a whole day of clients. If you were on that day and you got canceled, I apologize to you. This was years ago, but I went home and I played Tony Hawk Skater for all day, and it was and so for Bucky Lasik to stand up and honor Steve Caballero and then get to sit down with Steve Caballero, and you know what Steve talked about? Not all the accolades, the contest. He gave us his mindset, but what he talked about was none of that was worth it if his soul wasn't right. And it just brought it home. And then, this is crazy, my best friend from 4th grade is in the room. His name is Will, and him and I grew up in Lompoc, California. And if you're from Lompoc, you guys know what I'm talking about. We couldn't afford the Steve Caballero board. We wanted them, but we got other kind of boards. And I told Steve that story, and Steve said, well, I know what Will is getting for Christmas. And I said, well, Steve, I actually have a board here. Would you be willing to sign it to my friend Will? And so Will's in the audience. Steve Caballero signs the board to Will. Bam! And so I get to give that gift to my my best friend in the entire world, and the gift that I got to give my brother that was in the audience for the first time was his friend Eric from 6th grade. He hadn't seen him in 10 years. He didn't know he was coming. And also we got to let my brother know that he's being inducted into the Cabrillo High School Hall of Fame. And I got a chance to be able to tell him that from stage and surprise him. So it was just a night of memories that created the momentum it's memories, momentum, and legends. That's what it was about. But I want to bring it back to this because when I got a chance to be able to speak with the Marines last night, and the crew at American Public University and American Military University and Student Veterans of America, I think I'm getting them all right. Hopefully Nick and Lauren, I hope I'm getting every one of them right. We had a guy, Chad, that was from there, and he was talking about the fact that he had 3,000 certificates available that were gifted from Google to their organization to give to veterans. And the crazy thing is only 1,000 of them had been used. So when I talk about the certificates, they were giving Google itself. You think about that in business, it's one of the most, it's the pinnacle. But they had given and donated 3,000 certifications. You have to go through the certification to get the certificate, but they donated 3,000 and only 1,000 of them were being used. That means 2,000 of them, 2/3 of them are not being used. And what I was telling the crew last night is just, you've got to be present wherever you're at, because a lot of times opportunity is sitting and waiting and saying, please take me, but we don't grab a hold of it. And I think a way to be able to do that is, stay in that moment, stay present exactly where you're at, that one person standing right in front of you. And I fall victim of this, and I'm guilty of it a lot because, if I go and speak and, I'm going to be, April's going to be a pretty busy month, and actually the end of March and then into April is going to be a pretty fun month. So, I got BITAC that I'm speaking at, one of the most prestigious conferences for the hospitality industry. So as all the decision makers there, and then the problem solvers there that come together. And I'm going to be speaking at that one. And so that'll be in Fort Myers. And then I'm going to be in South Dakota for the Day of Excellence. And then I'll be in, Kentucky. And then I'll be in Orlando, and then South Dakota, and then Orlando. And then, or in Kentucky at the end of the month. And I believe then I'll go on to Florida from there. But I think a lot of times in those times when I'm speaking to anywhere from a room of, let's call it 750 to 3,000 people, sometimes when I'm having a conversation with someone, I can kind of almost look around and scan the room and make sure that I'm connecting with everyone. But what I find is when the magic happens is when I just stay locked into that person that's standing right in front of me. And this is what Proverbs 18 was talking about today. And it gave us all the list of how to be a good friend. And how to be a good friend was to be able to be in that moment and focus in on that moment. And what I would recommend for you and massively is just take the time today and read it. It took me, I was just about to walk out of the house and I had every excuse in the world, every excuse. Like, just walk out. Like, you got to be here, you got to be that, you got to do this. And I was like, you know what? And God just put it on my heart, like, just sit down for a second. Give me 5 minutes. Give me 5 minutes of daily bread. Give me a moment. And I tell you, when you give God a moment, he'll give you the momentum, and that'll lay a foundation for you to be legendary in whatever it is that you do. And it's not that you have to accomplish these crazy things. This is what I was telling the Marines last night. It's just you have to be present in these moments. And when you're present, then you listen. When you're present, you ask questions. And when you ask questions, you find out things that you wouldn't otherwise know. I got a chance to have a masterclass with Jay Shoup today, the senior vice president of Axos Bank. He deals with luxury home loans, and I mean at the highest level. He was just telling me that he helped a person, a loan officer, to be able to gain the highest commission that she had ever got in her entire career. It was life-changing money. But he did it through a systematic way, but he did it because he wants to be of service of people. And I just asked him the question, and I was present with him. And I tell you, if you take away one thing from today, just be present today, because there are so many moments that are waiting on you. There's so many people that want a moment with you. And before you go and have that moment with any person, take the time, even if it's right now, like right now, stop this, what you're listening to or what you're watching. If you're doing it, thank you so much. Share it with a friend. But also what I want you to do is go and just take a little quiet time. It'll take you, if you read fast, it'll probably take you 5 minutes. If you read like me, it'll probably take you 10. I think it took me 10 minutes, maybe. Proverbs 18, I can't remember how many verses it is, but it's literally a blueprint. It starts off, it sandwiches it, how to be a good friend, and then it ends with how to be a good friend. And all in the middle is all the steps that you can take. And the biggest one is for us to be present and create moments with people. And when you do that, you could tell the stories, and people fall in love with stories, right? Because they could start to see themselves in those stories. People don't want lessons. They don't want the 5 ways to be able to be, successful. Like, those things work, but when you package it in a story, when you live it, and those lived moments become the stories that you're able to tell, and you're able to tell them from your heart. So, and the reason why I wanted to get here to the studio today is because I haven't been taking those moments. In the last week and a half, things have been a little busy. That's an excuse. And what I learned from my friend Wynn Claybaugh and Tina Black is if you're good at excuses, you'll never be good at anything else. But it was an excuse. I was busy. I was doing this. I was doing that. I could take 5 minutes, but I didn't take it. And what my pops always said was that you'll never have the time that you don't take. Take a moment. Take a moment with God this morning. Proverbs 18. Read it. I guarantee you it'll breathe some life into you, and then you'll be ready to be present with all the people in front of you to create the moments that will create the momentum that'll lay the foundation for you to be legendary in all that you do. So I hope you have a phenomenal day. I can't wait for the next Vibe Room. We haven't released the dates yet, but they are coming, and stay tuned. It's an absolute honor to spend time with you guys, and I appreciate you. Comment and like and do all those things that you know you need to do. My name is Kelly Cardenas, and I'm officially off the hot seat. Peace, love, and soul.
Yeah, and this the vibe that raised us, made us, saved us. Love so strong that the hard times praised us. From base life roots to the freeway nights, we turn small rooms into launch pad flights. Yeah, this the vibe that raised us, made us, saved us. Love so strong that the hard times praised us. From base life roots to the freeway nights, we turn small rooms into launch pad flights. We begun surfing waves too low, made our own rules everywhere we go. Held tight to the truth that our parents declared. Anything is possible, the love stayed there. Now Rob's daughter ballin' on the end scene, Olay scene. Will's kids live dreams we never could have seen. This the vibe that raised us, made us, saved us. Love so strong that the hard times praised us. From base life roots to the freeway nights, we turn small rooms into launch pad flights.